Today on this podcast,
Yeah.
This is our very first episode of W2H. What does that stand for?
First one.
And I'm Jacob.
What's
and
the
so far, the
hype?
hype this week has been
I'm
the
Isaac.
NBA Finals. And as of right now, the Warriors are up 3-2 on the Boston Celtics. What are your thoughts on the series so far, Isaac?
Oh my goodness. Obviously rooting for Boston, but I don't know, letting me down after watching last game. And when Steph Curry shoots his worst game and throughout the entire series and you still lose by double digits, I don't know.
I just
There's
feel
not
like
much hope left
when
after
it comes to Boston, if Tatum and Brown aren't each dropping 25 plus a game with under 3 turnovers a game, they don't have much chance because outside of Tatum and Brown, they have some good players like Smart and Horford and their center Robert Williams. But if it all starts with Tatum and Brown. It's just like the Warriors, how it all starts with Steph. It's the same for the Celtics. So if, let's say, like Tatum had a cold start, yes, he picked it up later on, but his cold start led his team to a cold start. So it's like he has to set the impact. He has to set the tone. He didn't have a bad start. He had multiple assists. He was playing off the ball well. He had only one turnover the whole game. One turnover the entire game. Tatum and Brown had at least probably 10 combined. So.
Oh no, of course, absolutely. The thing is when you're a key player to your team, all that momentum starts with you. So when you have Tatum and Brown, not only that, it's not just one, it's both of your star players who are cold.
Yeah.
Your entire team's gonna go down with you. And that's exactly what showed that entire last series. And not only that, it's the part for me when it comes to their terrible fourth quarter play with Tatum in the fourth quarter, the entire series going 5 for 21. When it matters the most, when you play a team like the Golden State Warriors, where you have three, maybe even 4 key players that can just drop a 3 anytime, and that 10-point lead that you had is gone, you're not showing up in the most important quarter of the game.
No, that's
You're not going to win the finals.
When you look at the fourth quarter, yeah, Steph only had 16, but look at Wiggins, look at Thompson, look at Poole. All of them contributed a big, or they all played a very big role in that fourth, especially Wiggins playing great defense on Tatum, holding him to terrible shooting percentages. And also Draymond. Draymond, he gets a lot of hate, but the way he's been playing as of late, so like when I say lately, I don't mean the whole series, I mean last game, so like the last 5 minutes of that game and then this whole game, he played a lot like how Draymond would usually play, like defensive presence. He's there. He's running the offense. He's setting screens. He's getting his dunks. He's doing everything he needs to do for the Warriors to take the dub. Getting boards, playing amazing defense on Jaylen Brown. He's been holding Jaylen Brown to very, very bad shooting splits when he's guarding him. I think 5 for 15 or something around that.
Oh, yeah, and I'm a firm believer. Defense wins championships, and when you have Draymond Green, don't get me wrong, I'm one of the biggest Draymond haters there is. Can't stand him. But even though he's only dropping 2 to 8 points was his max that he scored this series, I'm pretty sure. But when you're showing up defensively and you're locking down one of their best players, how we're just talking about Jaylen Brown struggling, him struggling is because of Draymond. Yes. Tatum struggling is because of Wiggins. Warriors are locking down their key players. And don't get me wrong, I think Boston has a great set of players. They have other players besides Tatum and Brown. But when you're locking up the best players, your bench and your rest of your role players are not going to get the job done against the Warriors.
Their bench players, man, they played a great game. Like, GP2 coming off the bench, giving us 15 is huge. Jordan Poole, it's expected he's going to give us anywhere from 10 to 20 each game. And then we also have great defenders off the bench. Like, we have a very, very deep team. Like, we didn't even start Kayvon Looney these past 2 games, and he's our leading rebounder. And that just shows. And he's been in foul trouble, and we're still out-rebounding the Celtics, which is crazy. It just shows the Warriors' championship experience, their DNA, how comfortable they can be in such harsh positions. Like, in the third quarter of last game, they had a 16-point lead at one point, and they absolutely blew it. Boston came back storming, hit like 9 straight threes. But in the fourth quarter, the Warriors turned up on defense, made plays when they had to on offense, and ended up winning by double digits, even though their star player, the best shooter of all time, goes 0 for 9 from 3. Like, if Steph Curry has a performance like that, you automatically think, okay, Celtics winning this game, like, no problem. But that wasn't the case.
You have to. You have to capitalize. When you have the best player shooting 0 for 9 from 3 and you don't capitalize on that, I'm sorry, Boston should have took that game. And you don't capitalize on the best shooter, their best player, missing 9 threes, and you don't win that game. Not only that, you lose by double digits, you're in trouble. Steph Curry hasn't missed a 3 in a game
since he's been in the playoffs.
Almost 4 years.
Since he's been in the playoffs, he's never
and you
not
don't
made
win
a
that
3.
game.
And the one game he doesn't make a 3 in the NBA Finals, where it matters most, of course. He still had a big impact on the game, but if Steph don't make a 3, this team's a lot different. And for them to still come out and beat the Celtics by double digits with Steph's off night like that, I think it just shows the Warriors are the better team. I just feel like they're the better team.
No, I still think it was unbelievable going into the series that they had Celtics having, what was it, an 88% chance of winning the finals to Warriors 12%.
Me too.
The entire time, I thought it should have been the other way around. I looked at the Celtics as the underdog coming into the series this entire time. Don't get me wrong, a big fan of what they're doing. Rooting for them all the way. I still hope they take it in 7.
And another thing
by the way, looks in it, I
the Warriors defense. Now, there's been a lot of hype about, Celtics defense this, Celtics defense that. But they haven't held the Warriors under 100 in any game. The Warriors have done it to them 3 times, and the Celtics are supposed to be the best defense. I think it's just the Warriors are outworking them. They're being more physical, playing better D. They're just playing way better than Boston on the defensive side of the ball. And I want to give Boston credit, too, because the way they played Steph Curry last night was amazing. But the most dangerous thing about the Warriors is the others. If Steph's going off, that's cool and dandy. But the main thing that makes the Warriors great is the other players. You got Klay Thompson. You got Wiggins. You got Poole. You got Draymond. You got Looney. You got Payton. You have so many players to worry about. And when Steph his gravity on the court is so insane to me because he'll pull 2 off and he'll be 30 feet back and he'll have a double team on him without even the ball. And it just leads to easy situations for the Warriors every time, easy buckets. There were so many plays that game that they got easy buckets just because they were double teaming Steph or something like that, or one of their defenders is out of the mix because they're willing to give him up to stop Curry. And it's just crazy how important he is to that team.
I know. Of course. In a way, I feel bad for Boston because when you have the greatest shooter of all time on the court that you're playing against, and you do everything that you do, most likely they plan their entire defensive game plan is to stop Curry. But then as soon as you stop Curry, he kicks it out to Klay, or you kick it out to Poole, or you kick it out to Wiggins.
It's crazy.
I don't know how you respond to that.
Yes, you have the greatest shooter, but then you also have quite possibly the second greatest shooter of all time on that team. When it comes to playoff threes made, Steph, Klay. 3-point records, Steph, Klay. Like, they are the best shooting backcourt ever. And if you want to double team one, you have to deal with the other one. He's going to make threes on you. Like,
yeah, I know. And then you have this up-and-coming superstar of Jordan Poole who's pulling up Curry shots from 35 feet away, and they're just draining in. How do you even respond to that? I don't know what it is. Who's drafting for the Warriors,
honestly,
but they're
the
doing
biggest
something
play
right.
Of the game last night was when, at the end of the third, Jordan Poole coming down and hitting that buzzer beater 3. That just set the tone for an amazing fourth quarter to come. It was a huge momentum swing because Boston had all the momentum. They battled back, made 9 straight threes, took the lead. Then JP comes down and hits a half-court heave, gets the fans hyped, brings the energy back to the crowd, brings the energy back to the players. And that's the second time this series he's done that.
You know more than anybody as an actual player. Of course. You know more than anybody as an actual basketball player that momentum goes a long way. And with a star-studded team like the Warriors, I mean, if you're Boston and you have the momentum and you lose it, game over. That's what it's looking like this entire series so far, except the 2 games. Don't get me wrong. I know game one. Game one was, I'll give it to you, it was a little bit of a fluke with all those threes that Boston just all of a sudden pulled out, thinking they were the Warriors. But I don't know. I think this series is going to end a lot sooner than I hoped.
I just feel like Warriors
seriously
in 6
thinking Warriors
because
in 6.
you have Steph Curry coming off an off night. Every time he's come off an off night, he always responds. You have Wiggins, who's going to consistently be there on Tatum to play amazing defense. You have Draymond on Brown. You also have Game 6 Clay. Game 6 Clay, who always gets buckets in Game 6.
Clay.
And you have the Warriors mentality. They're such a winning team that they expect nothing less of winning this Game 6 in Boston. Just like in 2015, they were down 2-1 to the Cavs, come back and win it in Cleveland. Like, I don't know, man. I'm really leaning towards Warriors in 6. And even if it does go to a Game 7, I don't see the Celtics beating the Warriors at home. I really don't.
I don't know. That's a tough atmosphere. You go to Golden State's home with those fans. Like, it's not even just the Warriors you got to worry about. It's that fan base. I don't know. If I'm Boston, I'm really going in, trying not to have the absolute fear of first round being down 3-2 and knowing that it can end this game, but worrying about Game 6 Clay and whatever else the Warriors are going to pull out. But I don't know. This is the one game that they need to step up if they want any chance. And I don't know. When it comes to Boston, I don't see them returning next year to the finals. I think when you have the Bucks, I think Miami's going to do something big.
Well, the thing is,
this
too,
about the only chance that
the Bucks took into 7 games without Chris Middleton, their second best player, who is a beast, who can give you 25 to 30 a night, no problem. And they took him to 7. If the Bucks are whole, they probably beat the Celtics in 6. And same thing goes for the West, though. The Warriors, I mean, I know people say they had an easy run, which I don't believe they did, but they definitely didn't have to deal with Jamal Murray from the Nuggets, Michael Porter from the Nuggets. You play Luka in the Western Conference Finals, and of course Luka's an amazing player, but he doesn't have a team around him, so he's not going to do much. The toughest challenge they've had so far is the Grizzlies, and Ja went out, but that it's debatable that team's better without Ja. Their record without Ja was a lot better than when they had Ja. So,
when they had Ja. Oh yeah, no, definitely. I think both conferences have a lot of depth coming into next season. West especially, I'm a firm believer. I think the Nuggets will end up a contender, 100%. When healthy, Jamal Murray, MPJ, Jokic, Aaron Gordon. You know, you have a lot of depth right there. I don't see Phoenix being as dominant. I don't even know if they'll make the playoffs anymore at this point. I don't know. Maybe playing.
So
maybe
you're saying
playing.
Yeah,
and I'm a big D-Book fan. I'm a big D-Book fan.
He's trash without Chris Paul. What you mean?
All right, buddy.
D-Book, come on now.
I don't know about
19 wins without Chris Paul.
Don't talk about D-Book. Don't talk about D-Book.
What's your argument there? 19 wins without CP3. Look at Luka. But look at Luka.
It's still D-Book, all right? That's a light
Just carried his team in Western Conference Finals with no other star. Why can't D-Book do that?
Hey, he has Boban.
No. No.
It's all right. Nah, what you really got to worry about.
Yeah, if Anthony Davis isn't a straw and can actually play a season.
I know somebody like that with a weak knee right now.
Hey, AD, if he's healthy, Lakers could definitely win it. But it all rides on if he's healthy or not, and he has not been healthy. He's been hurt and hurt and hurt. Reminds me of someone who's been hurt and hurt and hurt. Just, dude can never stay healthy.
Yeah, I might know a guy. No, Lakers would definitely have to make a few moves this offseason if they want any shot, because the West has a lot. If the Lakers would have made the playoffs, they're not making it past Golden State. I doubt they would have made it past Memphis. I don't think they would have took if they would have made it past play-in tournament. I don't think they would have took any of the actual playoff teams out
pretty badly. LeBron's amazing. Don't get me wrong, but you can't win by yourself. You just can't. It's impossible.
Yeah, no. I don't know if you saw it. How LeBron's interested in joining Golden State.
Yeah, but he would never do that. He
trying to pull a KD on him.
They would just kill his legacy. Like, you can't go to that team and go get free rings like that. Like,
yeah,
you can't do that.
I think he'll wait. I think he'll wait till Bronny gets here. Just make his last year wherever.
I think the Lakers should try and go out and get Bradley Beal. Trade Westbrook.
If you can pull that off, I don't think Westbrook will want to.
They'd have to put a package together. But if they could get Bradley Beal, they would have Bradley Beal.
It'd have to be
LeBron.
A package.
That's filthy. Plus, they have good role players. Oh no!
Oh, LeBron's not complaining about that
right now.
Oh, he's up to something.
What are your final predictions for the finals?
Final prediction, Game 6. I know I've been talking about, I think it's going to be Warriors in 6, but for some reason, I may be a little biased in this one, but the Celtics are going to sneak past and steal Game 6.
I think Warriors
and we're taking it to Game 7.
6. I think it's over. Just looking at them, like, Tatum and Brown can't show up in the fourth. If they keep the game close to the fourth, it's game over. They're going to lose.
Mm-hmm.